Hi there, Stampers. It's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. I am doing, I started it last month, but I'm doing what I'm calling a fun fold series. And each month I'm going to take a fold and I'm going to show you a variety of ways to make that do that same fold but kind of change it up a little bit. So for the month of May 2024, I am focusing on the gatefold cards, and I'm going to show you today how to do, this is called, I've heard it called several different versions, but I'm sticking with the gatefold pop-out, and then I'm also going to show you how to do what I call the tucked gatefold. So there'll be a third card that I'll show you after I do these first two. But these are the first ones that I'm showing, and I did another version of a pop-out gatefold, but as well, so I will put a link to that one in the description below, so make sure you check that out. And if you haven't just subscribed to my channel, be sure you do that so that you get notified when I upload new tutorials. So this is what I'm calling the landscape version of the gatefold pop-out, and how it pops out is this: once you open it, the center part is your piece that kind of pops out, and it's a nice one that keeps on as a display, and you can also decorate the back. You can decorate all, front and back as to your heart desire. So on this one, I'm featuring the online exclusive Simply Zinnia stamp set, the dies, and then the flowering Zinnia designer series paper, as well as some of that glimmer paper that is in the online exclusive on the Stampin' Up website. So make sure you check those out. I know some people sometimes they always forget about those, but there are some great items in those online exclusive. And what's nice is they've been lasting for quite some time. So that's always good for a demonstrator. So, all right. So here is, like I said, this is that landscape one. And I did a little bit of the Stampin' Blends. I did the coloring with this stamp set, and then I also did the coloring on the center part. And then that's just kind of popped up on there. So that's one, and then here's another one. So this one I did the dies instead. And then this one, again, it pops out. I'm using that Melon Mambo as my card base and Lemon Lime Twist. And then there is an embossing folder that coordinates with it. And then there's some of that beautiful paper, and then some more of the glimmer paper and the stamp. And then again, I would put my sentiment here. So it's another great display card, and it folds nice and flat and thin for a 3D card. It's kind of nice. All right, so that's the landscape. So we're going to be doing a version of this one today. And then the other one is what I call the portrait. So again, this one, I'm using the dies, this Zinnia dies, and then this one opens up, and I did that circle as my center point in the designer series paper throughout on those panels. And then I did decorate the front and back, so I did all the panels on this one. And again, it kind of displays, so that would be, you could see the front on display, and then you also see the inside on display, which is kind of fun. Love it, love it. I love flowers. All right, so there's that one. And then moving away from the flowering Zinnia designer series paper, I also did some other ones. This again is another online exclusive paper, and I actually colored it with my blending brushes to make this kind of this ombre look on that naturally gilded specialty paper. And then again, this one I did the dies for my flowers, and then I did the stamping and die cut it out for the center part. So again, there's that Zinnia folder for the texturizing, and then I had one more scrap left over. And then I'm doing, this would be for my sentiment that I'll do on there. And then this one, I didn't do all the panels, so I just kind of put that extra little glimmer strip on the back. So that's another way of doing it. And then this uses one of my new favorite papers that we have. It's that natural wood designer series paper, so kind of getting away from those bright colors. This is another kind of fun one. And then I also did some of the Encircled in Nature dies, which is also a online exclusive. And then there's that folder again, and then more of that natural wood designer series paper. And then I did some little bit more die cutting. And again, so that's on display. And then the back, again, I just kind of put that little center strip for there. So we're going to do a version of this one today, just the layout, not the colors and stuff. And then the final card that I'm going to show you, I don't have a sample yet because I just kind of real quick designed it myself. But we're going to do what I'm calling it, it's like a tucked gatefold. So instead of this being on the outside, we would just focus on this part and you just kind of trim these other ends and then they kind of tuck under the card. So when you close it, you would see this on the front. So I'm going to show you that after I get these other ones done. So we're going to start with a version of this one to begin with. So again, you will need for your supplies for the portrait style, you're going to have a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to score it 2 1/8, 4, 4.5, and 6 3/8. Then for your outside panels, you'll need 2 of them, and you can either do designer series paper or cardstock, depending on what your design is going to be. But you'll need 2 of them, and those are both going to be 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. The outside panels is what I'm calling these. These again can be cardstock or designer series paper. And those are going to be just the same size as the front, so 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So I did one that I already kind of used the embossing folder, and then this one's going to be blank because that's what I'll put my sentiment on. And then for the inside middle panels, these, and if you want to decorate the back, you would need 4 of them, but I just did the 2 today. And again, these are going to be, I'm doing designer series paper, and they're going to be 1 5/8 by 5 1/4. And then the last part, if you want to decorate the spine, I'm doing some of that glimmer paper. This is kind of like that old olive color, and that is 3/8 of an inch by 5 1/4, and that's optional if you want to do it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the scoring. All right, so for the portrait, I want to make sure you're on the long side. And I'll zoom in just a little bit here so you can see. Okay, so the first one will be 2 1/8. Kind of put this here. So I'm going to do that 2 1/8. And then it's going to be 4, 4.5, and then 6 3/8. That's it for the scoring. And then you'll take your bone folder, and we're going to bring, these are our gatefolds, we're going to bring these in so they meet each other. So make sure they're meeting in the center. So those were both what I call the valley folds. Then your spine, these pieces need to pop out. So we're going to take those and fold them back like a mountain fold. I'm going to bring the other one over. So now you've got that almost like a flying bird, I don't know, or an M, could be. But anyway, so that's how you're getting that pop out. So that's it on that part. I'm going to zoom back out just a little bit here. All right, so now let's go ahead and add our panels. So I'm going to do all of these. All right, so we're going to start with our front of our card. These were the inside, and the outside. So again, these outside ones were the 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And we'll go ahead and just attach these in. And I just like to make sure, because these are side by side, so when you're cutting it, just be aware. Let's see here. I'm just matching up my patterns. There we go, that's it. Okay, so this is going to be on the right side. Yeah, this Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper, it's, I'm just not always a bold, bright type of person, but it is a fun color, and it was good to get me outside of my normal go-to colors. So it's got like this pumpkin pie, lemon lolly, that melon mambo. It has like some blackberry bliss in there and some of the Highland heather. So it's kind of a combination of almost like three out of 5 of our color families, because it's got the bold brights, the regals, it's got some of the subtle colors. I don't think it has any in colors in it, but yeah. But it coordinates with a lot of them too, so that's kind of good. All right, so that is my outside. So now we're going to open up, we're going to do our inside. So I like to keep one of these because I want to do my sentiment. I don't decorate it, or I mean, I can decorate it, but I don't emboss it. So these again were that 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And so in this one I did that Zinnia embossing folder. And when you get the folder, do note, so this is the front, you know, with the Stampin' Up logo, but the imagery actually goes up and down. So when you put your cardstock in, you want to make sure, I always line this up on that line, and then you would run it through your embossing folder spine first, or your embossing machine, to emboss it. So just be aware that the pattern goes this way, even though when you look at the embossing folder, you think this is the right, the front or the top. You just got to switch it around, just to be aware of that when you're embossing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attach this on the inside. And this is, my card base was Mossy Meadow, which is a neutral color. And then this is Lemon Lime Twist, which is in our Brights family. And then I'll do, before I actually attach that, I do want to stamp just as a little subtle image. I just have to find my... I thought I had my stamp out. I have so many things on my desk. And then I made the mistake of, like, you know, I'm like, oh, let's reorganize my desk and where I put everything. Oh my gosh, the stamp is right here in front of me. Oh, Linda. Oh, Lord. There are days. All right, so I'm just going to do Lemon Lime Twist ink and Lemon Lime Twist cardstock. And I'm just stamping this flower just off in the corner, just to give it a little something, something. Oh boy. And I'm off for the next few days for the Memorial Day holiday, so that was kind of nice having 3 days off, because oh boy, I need it after some of the hours I've been putting in for my day job. Definitely need a creative break. I need to finally go out and plant my flowers. Not just the paper flowers. I need to do my own garden. But today was kind of a washout day. It's been raining off and on. All right, so there's the outside panels, and let's go ahead and do these inside middle panels. So these were 1 5/8 by 5 1/4. And these are going to go, I don't think, yep, those match up. And then the spine, and again, this is optional, but again, I just had a strip of this paper left over. This was 3/8 of an inch by 5 1/4. And that's just going to go right down the middle here. I know I put my fingers. I was cleaning out some of my, I was cleaning it. I got ink all over. Okay, so there is all the panels. So now let's go ahead and work on our focal point. And for this, I already did a bunch of my die cutting, but I do want to show you in the dies, when they come in, when you look at them, what I like to do, especially when I'm making the paper flowers, so this one is what cuts out your stamped image flower, but I also like to use it as the base of my paper flowers, just to give it a little kind of more pop of a color and kind of make them a little bit more stable. So that's, I use that for my base. Then there are two flowers, and when you look at these, so one kind of has this like more pointy ends. Those are kind of what I focus on as my bottom. And then this other one is a little bit, has the wider petals. I put this one down first and I layer this one on top on it. So when you're kind of looking at those dies, the one that has more of those 2 points, that's what I'd consider my top flower when I do it. So I just spent a day going through my scrap drawer and I just cut a ton of flowers in a variety of colors. And again, you know, so I've got paper flowers everywhere. So it's kind of nice. And then you just kind of play around with your color combos. So what I'm doing today is I took the new peach pie in color. So that was this die. I cut that out. That's going to be my base. Then for the bottom die, I did pumpkin pie. So that's this one. So when you look at it, this is how this is like what I consider the bottom. And on this one, I kind of keep, there's this one little petal here that kind of shoots off to the side. It has a little bit of a point to it. I kind of use that as my, somewhat keeping it off to the left here. It's kind of my guide. And then this is the one that I consider the top flower because it has these two more pointy petals that I consider to be more at the bottom here. And then you just have to kind of rotate a little bit just to make sure that your petal, you're seeing all the colors and stuff. So that's kind of how I'm assembling it. And then I've got this little center part. I put that underneath, and then I typically put a dimensional on the center part here. And then I pop that up. You can do it the other way too. I've seen that as well. So that's either way, but this is how I've been assembling my flowers. So, and we're going to start, and I do like to curl my flowers. So so this is the front. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to lightly curl the edges just to give them a little bit of shape and movement. Okay, so that bottom flower, I kind of take that, I kind of tilt it a little bit. I'm only going to put a little bit of glue, and I like to use the liquid glue on this part when I'm assembling them. That's just my personal preference. All right, so that was a peach pie. This is pumpkin pie. We'll just kind of hold that a little bit. And then this one I did Poppy Parade. And again, this is what I consider the bottom part. All right, and then I just kind of twist it around just so that you can see all the petal colors. And then this center part, I did Lemon Lolly. And I just put a little bit of glue here. And then my center, oh, that didn't want to stick. Let's try that again. All right, we'll just kind of do that right now. Hold that on there. And then we'll take a dimensional, and I've just got some scraps left on here. Refluff my flowers a little bit. All right, and then that will go right on there. Okay, then the other thing I like to do, so then you've also got, in these dies, you've got a leaf that gives it more of this texture. So it cuts it and gives it those lines. And then the other one matches the stamped image like that. But I also like to take this and die cut it. I think I've got one in here, or do I? I might have it in my other one. Oh yeah, here. This is another way of doing it too. You've got, so then I just die cut it and I don't stamp it. And then there are these little scraggly things. I don't know what they are. The leaf veins. I put that on top of it. So that's another way of doing it too. I think I'll do that. That'll be on the next one. So this one I think I was just going to be using these. And then it also has these two little dies for your little flower petals or your mini flowers. And again, I like to layer those up, and then there's also the little flower stem. So lots of fun pieces in this die set. And this die set, I mean, this is one really where you can just get the dies. I mean, besides this big one here, but everything else really you don't need the stamp set mainly for it. But. Okay, so there's that one, and I will have my, I think what I was going to do was that was going to be on the outside with that. All right, so we'll go ahead and assemble this little flower as well. And I think I wanted, that'll be on the inside. This is going in here. Yeah, I'm going to do the darker green. All right, so we're going to take, so on these little pieces, again, if you want to double layer these, that's what I've been doing. This one is the one that I put on the bottom. And this other one that kind of has more of the flower petals spread out is the one that I put on the top. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And then this gets layered on top of it. Oh, there's Ezera. It's about time for her dinner. She gets a little head shake. All right, so there's the little flower. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll put a little bit of glue on the back side of the flower stem. And then that's going to be attached right to the bottom of that flower. So then you've got your little flowers. All right, so I think I have that would go in there. All right, so our front of our card, I already pre-cut. This is from the Encircled in Nature. It's basically that little wreath. And then I took and embossed with the Zinnia folder in Lemon Lolly. So I did Lemon Lolly and then pecan pie for my cardstock. So I already kind of made this up ahead of time because this is going to be attached onto my front, and you're only going to do half of your adhesive is going to be attached to it because it's just kind of opening up on the side here. But we do want to make sure that we can glue our flower petal or the flower stem down. So I am going to first use a little bit of tear-in tape. And let me close this up here because I think I want to have this as, go right about there. And I'm just going to take a little pencil and make a little cheat mark there. And that way I know I'm only putting adhesive on this side of that line. And I just use the tear-in tape just because I want a strong adhesive, just because this is kind of just sitting there half on the card, so I don't want it to fall off. And then you can go ahead and remove that eraser line. Okay, so then this is going to go on that left hand side of the panel. And then I always just do a spot check just to make sure you can't see it. And then we're going to take our flower stem. So this one I did is going to be in Old Olive. So we're going to glue that down first. And then I'm going to grab my flower, and just as a spot check so that I know, okay, where to place my stem. So you want to keep this because this panel opens up. You want to have this, make sure it's attached to that left panel. You don't want your flower going the other way because then your card won't open. All right, and then I'm going to take this flower and go ahead and attach it to the front. And since this already has some dimension, I'm not adding dimensionals. I'm just going to glue it straight to the frame here. And since you're kind of gluing onto that texture cardstock, you want to make sure that kind of give it a good press just to make sure it's adhered well. All right, and then what I also like to do on these little leaves is, as I had mentioned before, there are these other little die cuts that I call, they're the veins for the leaves. And these I kind of already die cut out of that Old Olive kind of glimmer paper. And so then these can be attached on top of it. And that's optional, but I just thought it added a little bit of glimmer. And you can also just use these little dies too as an accent piece. You know, like twigs or something too, kind of works. So lots of possibilities with this die set. All right, and I'm just going to attach this straight on top of that. And then this green, yeah, this was that lemon lime twist cardstock. And then the Old Olive. Okay, now what I am going to do on the one leaf, because as you open this leaf kind of hangs off, and I wanted it to be a little bit more stable. So I also had doubled up on this part too, so it's not flimsy. So I have another leaf here, so it's just on the one. I'm going to double layer my cardstock, just to give it a little bit more support. So, like I said, you only need to do this on the one. And this is just optional. I just like my cards to be thick. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach our leaves. So again, on this one, because it's kind of going to be floating off of this panel, you don't want to put glue all over it. I think what I should have done, is I should have tucked that under. I wonder if I still can. Oh yeah, I can tuck it underneath there. Yeah, I'm just gonna tuck this under like so. It'll let me. There you go. Yeah. Okay, we'll make it work. All right, so I'm only going to put a little bit of adhesive on just this bottom part. Oh, and Ezra is doing her zoomies upstairs, so I apologize. She's getting all excited for her dinner. She's got to do her cardio first before she eats. Yeah, 12 years old. She's still a firecracker. Okay, and then this one can be glued straight onto this panel, so that one doesn't matter. But I forgot, I should have put these down first. I should have put the leaves down first before the stem, because I like tucking these underneath. There we go. It's optional. I mean, you can put them on top too. I just kind of like the look of it being tucked under the stem. Okay, so there is our front of our card. We'll add just a little bit of bling on the front. I think I will pull in, I've got these little lemon lolly kind of sparkle gems, so I think I might just add a couple of those on here. Just to give it a little something something. I do like my gems. And then we always like to have odd numbers in nature, so I always say when you're doing some of your gems, kind of think of a triangle, big, small, and then this can be either a small or a big one, but I always kind of like to have that triangle look on it. And if you know, you can just stick with doing 2, because like this would be my 3, you know, that makes that triangle. That's Linda's logic. Audit. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the inside. So I have another piece of, so this is when you cut out this frame. That's that center part. And then I cut out another one because I wanted it to be a little bit thicker so it wasn't flimsy. And I've already die cut, and I made this into a sticker because I wasn't having it being attached to cardstock, or not to another layer of cardstock. So it's just the designer series paper, but that's going to be attached directly onto here. But before I do that, I do want to put my flower down. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the one that we just made. And for this center part, I mean, you can do whatever die cutouts, you know, circles, squares, you know, whatever shape you want can go on these. And actually, before I put that down, I wanted to put this other little squiggly thing in here. See, do I have another green one? Oh, I do. Let me do this one. Just put a few of these. Okay. Put this down. Something like that. And then I'll put my flower. I probably should put this down a little bit. Sometimes I like just to take my acrylic block and help press some of that glue down. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and take the sticker off of the sticker backing off of this. Or maybe it looks like I did put this on cardstock. So it's designer series paper and cardstock. I couldn't remember. I had this done a while ago. So we're just removing. Sometimes it's nicer when you have some of these like intricate dies or word dies to make them into stickers using the adhesive sheets versus, you know, dealing with liquid glue. All right, and then we will try and put this on straight. I'm going to use my grid lines. All right, so right about there. And then in those dies, I think I have some, yeah, there's all these like little tiny little flowers here, or star. They kind of look like stars, but I've been using them to act as little flowers. So we'll put some of these in here too. Let's see here, let's do another yellow one. So these I'm just going to put a dab of glue down, maybe. Oh, there we go. So there'll be one there. And then we'll do some down here. And let's do another Poppy Parade and Pumpkin Pie. I might need a little more glue on that one. I got a little heavy-handed there. I'll have to wipe some of that off. Oh, there we go. It's a love-hate relationship with liquid glue. There we go. And then totally optional, but I do like to go in and add with a white gel pen, my little flower centers. Okay, so that's that. And then that is what is going to be attached onto our spine. So you need to only put adhesive then on that spine, the width of it. So again, the tear and tape is like a perfect width for this. So I just kind of spot check, knowing that I'm kind of right about there. So we'll just put some tear and tape down. Yep, that's long enough. You could also do dimensionals, but just know that you'd have a little bit of bulk if you did the dimensionals. And then we'll just kind of keep that somewhat straight. Oh, there goes Ezra again, doing her workout. All right, so there is the portrait style for that pop-out gatefold. Cute, love it, love these colors. Pretty, pretty. All right, we're gonna real quick, we'll do the landscape version. So again, that was that portrait. So for the landscape one, which is this version, you'll need a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. And then your panels. So on this one, I said, again, 4 1/4 by 11. And then you will need, for your outside front panels, you'll have 2 of them. And these are going to be 2 1/2 by 4. And then also on the inside, same size, 2 1/2 by 4. You'll need 2 of them. And then I'm doing the cardstock for the other one. So these are, again, 2 1/2 by 4. One is embossed with the Zinnia folder, and the other one is just plain. And then if you want to do the spine and decorate the front and the back, these spines are going to be 3/4 of an inch by 4. And then whatever you want for your focal point and for the pop-up piece, you'll do those, have pieces of paper for that. So I've got some circles. I did the everyday dies, and I did some of the deckled circles for the circles, and then I also did the same thing with the rectangle. So I'm going to have that be on my inside. And I thought I had, oh yeah, I do have it over here. And then I've got another little piece, a flower that I'll put on the outside. But I'm going to color this time instead of doing the die cutting. So we're going to go ahead and do our scoring first, real quick. This out of the way. Zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so again, on the long side, so this is at 4 1/4 by 11, we're going to score at 2 3/4, 5, 6, and 8 1/4. So we're going to do that. 2 3/4. 5 inches, 6 inches, and 8 1/4. Okay, so again, that was 2 3/4, 5, 6, and 8 1/4. And then same as before, you're going to bring those gatefold, the outside ones, in like a valley fold, and these are going to meet in the center if all is measured correctly and cut correctly. There we go. Okay, so that's just your normal, that would be a normal gatefold. But now we did these extra score lines that are going to be the pop-out piece. So for those, we need to fold them back like a mountain fold. So now you've got your pop out for the center, and then these come in. All right, so now let's go ahead and adhere our panels on here. So we've got, so this is that Melon Mambo, which is a color I don't use very often. And then our designer series paper, this is the still that Zinnia, flowering Zinnia. So these were 2 of them. You need 2.5 inches by 4. And these are just going to be make sure, again, since this is mirrored, I always make sure my pattern is continuing. So as you're cutting your cardstock, just be aware of that. All right, then our inside, that's the same size as the outside, and these I'm using cardstock, so they're 2.5 by 4. The one I left blank, and the other one I did do the Zinnia embossing folder. And this is that lemon lime twist. Kind of reminds me of like an 80s color. I wasn't always I didn't like it at first, but I do, it has grown on me. I do like this color now. And this one, again, I think I'm just going to put this little lemon lime. I'm just going to stamp that in the corner just as a little accent piece. And then we can go ahead and attach that. Yeah, and this is a nice dimensional 3D type of card. That's an easy one to do. Doesn't have any complicated folds and cuts and stuff. So, so now these are the spines, and I think on these, I think I'll just do the stripe. So I'm going to do the front and the back. So these are 3/4 of an inch by 4. Or maybe I'll do one. I'll do one with the leaves out, and then I'll do the other one with the stripes. So my inside one, I'm going to put the leaf, and then the back side, I will do the other side. So again, these are another great fun fold to show off both sides of your designer series paper. Just pay attention to your direction. You know, like I said, this has got to be my front now, or my the bottom of the card. Okay, and then the other panels to decorate the inside are going to go here in the middle. So now these are just a little bit smaller. So these are 2 by 4, and you need 2 of them. And do these? Yep. No. Do these match up? Yep, they do. Okay. So. All right, so there are all of our panels decorated. So now let's go ahead and we're going to do our front of our card. And to save on time, so again, this one I stamped it, and I did it with the Stampin' blends, and I used Melon Mambo and then a little bit of, I think I did some of the darker the light Blackberry Bliss, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I did Lemon Lolly and Pumpkin Pie for the center. And then I cut out another piece, so one is in white, and then I did another one in Melon Mambo, just to give it a little bit of support. And I did have, I think I've got some of these leaves already stamped too, and die cut, just to save on time. What I had in here. Yeah, and this one is like all Blackberry Bliss. That one's kind of a pretty one too. Oh, I thought I had. Oh, maybe I don't. I thought I did, but. Oh, yeah, here I do. All right, so I've already got these kind of cut, so we'll use that instead of messing with the glue on that one. So we're going to do, this will be my front. I'm going to go ahead and put, this is the Deckled circles, and then the Everyday Essential dies, and this is the Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And then I will do my flower like so. And so I did take, so it cuts like this, so then I cut another one, and then I just cut off one of the leaves because I didn't know if I wanted to make sure. I don't think I will. I don't think I'll use that one. But maybe I will. No, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're just going to glue this down. Going this way. And then I can put my gems on. So we'll do something like that. And then this one I am going to pop up with some dimensionals. So, same thing. This will only be on half of that left panel. So I just eyeball, and that looks good. So as long as I am from here over, I'll be good to go. So I'll just use my pick tool to remove that backing. And then this will get attached. So we're somewhat in the center. All right, and then for our pop-out, got stuff falling over here on my desk. All right, we are going to do the rectangle, and on this one I have that thanks again, and I also have a few flowers that I will die cut, and I think on this one, let's see here, I got Blackberry Bliss. I think I might do that glimmer again. Oh, maybe I won't need to double that up since it's, so I've got that. If I put this here, and then my flowers. So since we've got the Melon Mambo, maybe I'll put that on the back, and then maybe the Berry Burst for some contrast. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That's why it's always nice when you just die cut a bunch, and then you can you can play around with your colors. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on this bottom one, and then the one that has kind of the petals more spread out is what I always kind of put on the top. And this is that this color here, this is that new Petunia Pop colors. You can kind of see, and this is Berry Burst, just to kind of give you the colors. Yeah, the new in colors are really pretty. Kind of like sherbet ice cream, it reminds me of. All right, so then this again is that Zinnia paper, and then I've got that Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And then I already made this as a, or no, did I? No, this one is not a sticker. But I do need to glue my flower down before I so we'll put that right about there. And what's nice about this paper here, it has lines on it, so you know you're putting it down on straight, which is good. Just give it a little bit of press with the block. And then again, that just kind of tucks right underneath. Okay, And then again, this is going to go on the spine. So you only need to put some adhesive right in that middle. We'll use our tear and tape again. Oh, here it is. This is just going to go. Through here. So I want to make sure I wasn't glued down to my inside panel here. Otherwise it wouldn't have folded in. So there we go. So now you've got your landscape pop-out gatefold. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to do what's called a tucked one. So I'm going to do the portrait version of this. So it's the same concept, but now we're going to make these panels just a little bit shorter so that they can tuck underneath the focal point. So for this one, you will need, get all my pieces here, on the card base, and this is for the tucked one, your card base is 5.5 by 8 3/8. So if you don't trim it, basically I just took like a 1/16 inch off of either side. So, but my scoring is modified so that it fits with this, with these measurements. But it's 5.5 by 8 3/8. You're going to score at 2, 3 7/8, 4 3/8, and 6 1/4 for the tucked one. All right, so I've already done that. So again, it's the same folding. You're going to bring these in, but notice now they don't meet. There's that space, okay? And that space is needed so that you can tuck these panels underneath the focal point, okay? And then it's the same concept where that center part kind of pops out. Actually, I'm going to fold on these a little bit because they're not as sharp of a crease. There we go. And give these a good burnish as well. Okay, so that's the base. Now for our panels, the outside ones here will be, so I make sure I'm lined. I can't remember if I mute. Yeah, these did get mirrored. Okay, these are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and you need 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these on. And if you wanted to have less of a cardstock border, you could make these pieces wider, but I just kept these because I like kind of seeing more of that frame going around my designer series paper. Okay, then my inside panels that are going to be on the outside, basically the outer panels, these are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And you need 2 of them. And again, same thing, what I've been doing as with the other ones. I have one that I have embossed with the embossing folder, the Zinnia folder. So this is that lemon lime twist. My card base again is that mossy meadow. Then these panels, I'm doing designer series paper. So these, again, you need 2 of them. So these are 1 5/8 by 5 1/4. And I think, yep, these are mirrored. So those are going to go there. And then the spine, because this gets to be kind of small, totally optional, but I had, you know, just when you're cutting paper, you get that little script. This is 1/4 inch by 5 1/4, and I just did this in Lemon Lolly cardstock, and then I wound up, it had been run through the embossing folder, but you can use designer series paper or cardstock, or you don't even have to put anything here if you don't want to. And then if you, depending on, you know, what you've done on this inside, if you want to decorate the back side, you can do that as well. So you would need 2 of those. And then these are the same size. And if you wanted to do cardstock, those would be 1 5/8 by 5 1/4. But again, that was totally optional if you wanted to do those. All right, now for this one, we want this piece, because now when this comes together, this is going to be tucked under. So you can use dimensionals, or you can use the Stampin' Up! The foam, what are these? The adhesive strips? Foam adhesive strips. That's what I'm going to be using, because they're pretty narrow. And you can cut these down to the size that you need, because that's going to fit right on there. So let's see here. I think I need to have this be, I just have to cut it just a little bit off. Save that for something else. So we'll put that right in our center. And then go ahead and remove that backing. And these, the foam strips, they sit up just a little bit higher than the dimensionals, which I think works pretty slick for this card design, just because you are kind of tucking these flaps underneath. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm going straight here. So again, I already kind of decorated my little panel. I did those Everyday Essential dies again, and then the deckled rectangle. I did some of the embossing folder on that Lemon Lolly, and then I did my paper flowers. So I did the pumpkin pie as that bottom, and then I did the peach pie as the second, and then this, actually, I think I grabbed, it was a retired color, but I think it was the old, what was that called? Oh, Mango Melody. I think that's what I accidentally grabbed there. But yeah, otherwise you could do pumpkin pie again. And then I did that Old Olive, and then Mossy Meadow for that, and then some of that Old Olive glimmer paper. So that's kind of my focal point. Now, so these are going to tuck underneath. So then your card is still flat, and then when the person opens it, they're still getting that 3-dimensional kind of fun look. And like I said, if you want to, I probably will go ahead and decorate that back side of it later. And then when you go to close it, you're just kind of folding it like this, and then you're just going to tuck these under it. So again, it's the same concept as the floating, or not the floating, but the first one we did, but we just trimmed basically kind of a 1/16 inch off of both ends so that you could get that tuck look. All right, so that is what completes this gatefold fun fold series here with the pop-out gatefold done 3 different ways. And then I'm also going to be working on some other gatefold variations, and these, you know, they've been around for quite some time, but I always like to go back and give people refresher courses. So the other ones that I'm going to be working on coming up in our next gatefold fun fold series is the diagonal fold gatefold. So these I'm going to show you 2 different sizes. So one will fit into your normal A2 envelope, and these are kind of fun because they kind of twist out, and it's kind of a unique fun fold. Again, this has been called, I think, like a twisted diagonal gatefold. There's a variety of names for it, but same concept. So that's the smaller version. And then this one is just a little bit bigger. So you can kind of see the difference. And this one fits into more of a it's like more like what I call like a 5x7 card. So that would fit into like your A7 or is it A7 folder. So not extra postage, it's just a little bit larger envelope. So those will be coming up that I'll be working on. I will get that going hopefully this week. And then my other one that I'm going to show with the gatefold is an explosion card using the gatefold. So again, another kind of fun fold card that people like to get. And again, I just love these zinnias, so pretty. But anyway, thank you again for joining me. I will stamp again with you soon, and so make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you have not yet done so, and then have a great and creative day. Thank you. Bye-bye.